For more tips and tricks, don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. Also, ring the bell so you can get notifications anytime I have new videos. Welcome to Paul's Toolbox. I'm Paul Ricalde, and today I'm going to show you how I install this door. I removed the old one, put this one in. This thing is rock solid all the way around, and you're never going to guess where all the fasteners are. They're hidden. Let's get started. This is a steel door, an entry door that I want to put in my garage right here. See how it says the width? 36 inches. The height, 80 inches. It says it's a left-handed in-swing door, meaning that door swings inward. If it's an outswing, it means it's coming out. And that tells you the hinges are on the left. It says left hand. You look at it from the point of coming into your door. This is the outside. See the brick molding? You can see this doesn't come out, it goes in. That's a left end swing door. I'm going to measure from the opening right at the edge, right here. From that to this should be 36 inches. My door is going to be a little bit smaller than that. You'll want some eye protection. I'm going to take my razor knife and just score it along the edges where the paint is and the caulk. And I'm really not all that concerned with this because a lot of this is coming out. Alright, so I'll take this and I'll just pop it right behind and you turn it. You're just going to pull it downward. You pull it like this and it's going to open it up. And if it's hard to get off and you don't want to mess things up, you'll open it up a little bit, put your hammer and open it up, and you walk it down, just like that. If you take this one and it opens up a gap, you put your hammer down a little bit further. You don't want to take this and pull this way and go into your drywall, because then you can put a hole in this. If I widen it out, it's a lot easier to cut this. And I'll be able to run my knife and it opens it up some. On both sides. Of course, neat too. You don't want to mess it up. Alright. Nothing to it. The door jamb should be installed better than this. It should have some screws in there, and I'm going to show you how to install it properly once we get this out. I will take 3 of them off the top, and I'm going to take all the rest of them down here off. I'll leave that one on the top just to hold it, so when I do take these off, it doesn't go flopping on me. Pitiful. Okay. Oh, they have one 16-penny trim nail on there. Ooh, they did something. Time out, guys. I have something real important to cover before we move forward. Not every door falls just right the way you want it to. This opening was just right, but a lot of times when you're working with siding or brick, something on the exterior of a house, you have to match that hole, right? You have to center it and you have to match it. What I do is I keep pieces of plywood for one thing. So I'll have 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and 3/4. You don't have to keep all that, but you can look to see what you need and rip some pieces for it. I'll rip them the width of my 2x. So I'll tack that on here if I need to center it over some. I'll put my door in here, see how it's going to fit. If it falls right against here and I'm plumb, I'm good. This side, if it overlaps for some crazy reason and my siding comes over too far, I'll work with that, and I'm going to tell you a couple of ways to do it. I can take my door, set it in here, get it's plumb on there. I'll put my level on here, make sure it's level, and I'll mark a line straight down here. I'll set the depth on my circular saw just past my siding and I'll start low. You can't start from the ground because you can't cut like that. I'll start as low as I can, and I'll run straight up till I get close to the top. I won't go to the top. I come back and I clean it up with this. This is a multi-tool, an oscillating tool. These things are fantastic. You'll get a nice clean cut. Now if I wanted to, I could cut the whole thing with this, but it's faster if I use my circular saw to get most of it and just come and fine tune it with this. So like I said, you don't need to have a circular saw and this, but this right here makes it a lot easier. Both of them are great to have on a job. Give yourself a tiny bit of room, a 1/16 of an inch or so. That way you can caulk it. If you can split the difference a tiny bit. If you have brick on there that's too far in, you can't cut your brick. You're not going to want to go through that to set the door in. So what you do is you pop your molding off right here, this brick molding. If you have a wide reveal right here, like I have on this door, it's almost a 1/2 inch. I can always come in a 1/4 inch on both sides, and I'm good. I could have a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around, it'll still look good, and I could fit it in if that's the case. And now if it's more than that, you trim it. If your brick is crooked, which I've seen, because sometimes these guys will build it on a Friday or a Monday, your house, or do that part, and they're ready to go party, and I've had walls that are crooked. When that's the case, if it's too crooked, you can't, you don't want to trim your brick molding like that. Taper it off because you have this line here, this design. You could take a 2x and rip that to fit where it's square. That way you can taper it a little bit and make it look like a brick molding that's just a basic brick molding. I've taken and trimmed that out with a nice trim, and it looks good. You could put a quarter round or an inside corner or something and wrap the whole thing around and kind of split everything and caulk it, and you can make it look right. Sometimes that's all you can do when you have a crooked wall. You make sure that you have a little bit of extra room when you go to get your door. This is a 36-inch door. I knew it. I went and got a 36-inch door to fit in here. If your slab is unlevel, you get that plumb side where your hinge is, you'll make that fit. If this side is high on the slab, I'd have to push it up a little bit, right? Get it nice and plumb. That way you can see where your shims have to go at the bottom. You can dry fit it, put your shims where they go, pull your door out, seal it all up, and then put it back. Either way, you know how you have to work it if you have an unlevel slab. All right, let's get back to the video. When you put your door in, this is the side you want to deal with. And what I mean is, whatever your hinge side is. This happens to be the side where my hinge goes. So this has to be plumb. You start off with one plumb side where your hinge is, and that way you can work and move this around to match it and shim it. But this has to be plumb. If you start off with the hinge side off, everything's going to be off when your door swings in and all. So if you start off and this is just right, if it's plumb, when it swings open, all you have to worry about now is getting the reveal right. Everything else is going to fall in place. If you look at my door unit, I have more than 1.5 inches above that for this. So I need to put a 2x4 right here because I want this tight all the way around. I don't want this big hollow spot right there, especially for an exterior door. It's pitiful. I marked it at 20 inches. I'm gonna make this line a little darker. And now I'm running it from this side. I have 17 3/4. I'll just get them started, so all I have to do is set it up there and run it in. With my level set on the hinge side, you can see that this is perfect. I'm right in the center of the lines. That means this is plumb. So I will take it here, set it right side up, and look at this one, and I'm good. This is level. Time out. Let's get to this part. Before I start it, I use a flashing tape on this. I use this for windows and doors. And this one has an aluminum backing. Good stuff. You can buy this at your local stores for about $10 to $15, depending on which one you get. And they work well. It's well worth the money to put your door in, and this will last for more than one door. Okay, this right here was sent to me by DAP, and this is what I use today. I will say that I liked it better than my standard stuff because I'm able to take this and peel one side at a time out. That really helped me out when I'm laying it across here. So say I lay it across here and I peel the whole thing, it's going to want to stick to everything when it's hanging down. If I only peel one side, I'll push it on there and then I can peel the other side and fold it in. Made things a lot easier, and this is some good stuff. I'm going to take it and wrap it around the corners. It's great for windows and doors, and that's what I would recommend. At least something comparable. It forms a seal right here and a water barrier. So when I caulk on this side, nothing should get in there, but if it does, it's going to channel down and not soak into my wood. A lot of people don't even use this, but this tape really helps. We'll put that, wrap it around, and then we do the top last because the top needs to overlap the sides. Some people don't put that little piece in there. It doesn't take me but a minute, and I think it helps. Just want to make sure I get that right in that corner, that crease done. I'll put it up there, and then I'll slice it and fold it in. Okay? Just like that. So I'm going to take my slice, put it right into that. Alright, looking good. I'm going to pull it out, set it on the side. I like to put the door in as one unit. I don't like to take the door off and mess with the frame and then put it in. You put it in as one unit, then you can see what your reveal is to put your shims in and everything works out right. But like I said, this is the most important part. Before you seal this bottom, you want to make sure this concrete's clean. Sweep it real well, wipe it down good, and then take some alcohol or acetone and wipe the concrete. We know this side here is plumb, so I'm going to tack a couple of nails right through here with my trim gun. These are 2-inch nails, and I'm going to tack a couple right here. I don't want to put a lot of big things in here. Screws that'll show. I just want to tack it. Now, once we have that in place, I can take and look at this from the inside, and you see I know I have a gap here. I need to work with this and make sure that this is plumb. So I'm going to get on the inside. My drywall was stopping it in some places because of the way the door was before. So I'm trimming it up just a little bit. I hit it a couple of spots up top to push it in, and I got a little spot here. And one. Don't need much. Actually, this is a really tight fit all the way around. We're looking good. Now I'm going to take some 3-inch deck screws, exterior screws, and I'm going to run those right where my hinges are. When you put these screws in, I'll take these two out and I'll run long screws in them. 3-inch decking screws or 3-inch, minimum 3. I like to do 4 sometimes. So I'll take this one out, just put it in that bottom hole. For those of you who are not familiar with the weather stripping on this pops right out. It's a groove that's set in there and it just slips in. So you could pull this weather stripping out and run some screws behind where the weather stripping goes. I don't really need to run too many here. I'm going to run them in between my hinges, but over here I'm going to run them on 3 points up top and then down this other side. That way all of this will be locked in, and I'll do it behind the weather stripping so when I put it back in you won't see any of the screws. So all we'll do is slip this out. It slips out easily and tucks right back in. Sometimes it'll be stapled in there, but a lot of times it's not, like this one. It just slips right out. You never want to paint your door frame with these in place. You always want to take these out, because when people try to cut in there, they get paint all over this. It looks terrible. I always pull them off to do paint work. So take that one off, pull this one out. Get a screwdriver tip on here. Don't gouge it, just be real careful. Get right behind it on the end. Once you pull the end out, it just slips right out now. Comes out like a puzzle, easily. Now when you pre-drill these screws, you want to make sure you have the clearance for your head of your screw. You don't want it to hit the stop. So I'll bring it off that edge about 1/8 of an inch or more. A little bit more than that's fine. I have screws sticking out here, but they're right where the weather stripping goes, so it's going to stop there anyway. I'm going to take this and get an idea of where it needs to go. Now put one way, all right, and one the other, and then that way I'll just pull one out to where they start getting snug. I'll stick them both in all the way, and I'll pull one out. What happens is, you're taking them like this, and when you pull them out, it wedges and gets wider. My buddy Brian Gurry turned me on to his Get-A-Grip. This Get-A-Grip right here helps you to keep your screws from stripping out, because these deck screws really strip easily. If you run in a 3-inch screw in there and you try to back it out or go back and forth, it'll usually strip. You put a little bit of this Get-A-Grip on here and it bites. Even if your screw is starting to strip, it'll help it get out a lot easier. It'll bite. It won't strip anymore. All right. That's it. Nice. It just tucks right back in. You push it up, and that's it. Well, as you see, that really wasn't very hard. This came out nice. Everything's nice and tight and strong. With your strike plate, use a 3-inch screw at least. Do not use the ones that they give you in your doorknob kit. Usually you have little 1 or 1.5 inch screws. Those are junk. Throw them away. Because if I kick this door and you have those little 1-inch screws, it's just going to rip this door jamb right off. It's going to split. So make sure that you run some long screws. I'm not saying it's going to stop everything, but it does make it a lot stronger. I'll use a low expansion foam to fill in gaps if I have gaps on here. But this was tight. I don't need it. Great stuff if you need it. Believe me, this is DAP Draft Stop. This stuff is a low expansion foam. You do not want to use something like high expansion foam in here, because if you put it in between these door jambs, it's going to swell up and tighten everything. You won't be able to get your door open. I also use wire nuts on the end of my caulking if I don't have a cap that comes with it, or if you lose your cap. These wire nuts work great, and you can just take it off of this caulk and put it on another one if you want. If you guys don't mind, please hit like for me and drop a comment. Well, this job is done. I'll see you guys later, and Elsie and I are going to go have some fun.